Well, Secret Service failed to protect President Trump once again today by putting him into a bad situation with no protection outdoors on the southern border with somebody in that county that was making threats against him. And you'll never believe how President Trump actually found out about these threats. I'll fill you in on exactly what happened today. Just another mind-boggling situation. And I'm not sure if this is standard practice or not, but I'm going to go ahead and say it is not, especially when the man was just shot a little over a month ago. Of course, I want to hear your opinion on this. No matter if you agree or disagree, let me know what you think down below. Let's go and get into it. So President Trump was speaking in Cochise County in Arizona today on the border. This is something he's been passionate about since he started his campaign all the way back in 2015. So it's no surprise that he still kind of talks about this and he wants to finish that job and make sure that the rest of the wall gets built. Now, prior to them going out there, he was told that this was going to be potentially kind of dangerous. Could they move it? And he basically responded, as far as we know, like, hey, we know it's going to be dangerous, but, I have a job to do. Now, when you look at the backdrop of where he's actually standing, there's a mountain range right there. Straight shot of border wall, of course, separating Arizona from Mexico. The first thing you'll notice, though, is that there is no bulletproof glass anywhere around him. Now, this comes following just a day ago where he was speaking in North Carolina with bulletproof glass behind him and in front of him. And this was done to kind of seal the holes, if you will, of places that basically couldn't be under Secret Service's control, mainly from what I can see, that wood line, because there was a strong wood line that was behind the aviation museum that he was speaking at. Now, it's really hard to tell how far this mountain is near him. Regardless, it seems like something they could have very easily done is just put bulletproof glass behind him, and boom, you don't have to worry about it. Now, it's hard to tell how far this mountain is from him. It's obviously a couple hundred yards or more, probably more than that. But it's not like Secret Service was standing in a line protecting the president with their bulletproof armor, right? So it just seems like it makes sense to put a sheet of bulletproof glass up behind him. Boom, you have no issues. Now, this guy that made threats against President Trump is wanted out of Michigan. Apparently, he got a DUI, failure to appear. He failed to register as a sex offender I think he's from Benson County, but he was actually caught in the same county that President Trump was speaking in. Now, what makes this even crazier is not only did Secret Service not inform the president, not only did they not put bulletproof glass in front of or behind him, but then the reporter asked President Trump this.
But it appears that President Trump actually found out about all of this, the manhunt itself, through a reporter live on TV. Watch.
Today there was a manhunt going on in this county. Somebody made death threats to you. Did you hear about that before coming?
Thank you for telling me. Let's get out of here right now. But no, I haven't heard that, but I'm not that surprised. And the reason is because I want to do things that are very bad for the bad guys.
He's like, yeah. He's like, well, thanks for letting me know, let's get out of here. He makes a joke about it, which is very much like him to do something like that. But at the end of the day, he didn't even know. A reporter had to kind of fill him in. All he was told is, yeah, this is going to be a dangerous spot for us to do this. But he's like, I got a job I got to do.
At the border, he says that he was told that it was dangerous, and he was asked if he could move the location of the event, but not much else.
Does that make you want to change the way you do events or anything? How do you respond to that?
It makes me want to get away from this interview because you and I are standing out here. And I was told, do you think you could do it someplace else? But I have to do my job.
And I know there might be somebody that says, oh, well, what about transportation of bulletproof glass and blah, blah, blah. That could have been set up prior to him getting there. They could have had any number of companies that were in Arizona that could have assembled that for him prior to him ever getting out. I mean, this is the most threatened man in America, probably in the entire world, and was just shot less than a month ago. And not to mention, there was another assassination plot kind of working, against him as well with the Sif Mershon. Now, this 66-year-old freaking pedo that actually made threats against the president, fortunately was caught fairly quickly. But I just think it is unexcusable to not put the bulletproof glass behind him and in front of him, right? I mean, I know it's not something he necessarily wants to do. You know, even if he was only there for 30, 45 minutes, less than an hour, whatever it was, it's still something that I believe is absolutely worth it. And there's no excuse to not do that any longer, especially when you did it just the day before. Now, I don't know if this is normal protocol to not at least tell President Trump, like, hey, look, maybe we need to push this back a little bit, you know, make sure all the security threats are taken care of, make sure that they kind of catch this guy before we go out there and speak. It's kind of like the same thing in Butler, you know, like let's hold it off, because I think it was, I don't know, about an hour, maybe a little bit more from the time that it was being reported on to the time that he was actually caught. It wasn't that long, but it also seems like they could have either changed the location. It seems like they could have got bulletproof glass. They could have done something to keep him safe, and yet they just let him walk out there and don't even tell him. Again, I don't know what the procedures are. We know that presidential candidates get threatened, but none of them in the past 40 years, over 40 years, have gotten shot and just a month later are doing outside rallies. Even though that's his choice, your job, the Secret Service, your job is to protect him. Now, even more rich is that the Secret Service is actually deferring everybody to Cochise County, and they actually said not only on the manhunt, but any potential ties to Butler as well. That was a fairly odd statement. I think they were asked about ties to Butler, but still they deferred that to local law enforcement. Does this all sound familiar to you? Because it really sounds familiar to me. And so I'll keep digging in if I see anything else that could be of potential concern, especially if there is some kind of a tie to Butler. It's just, I don't know, man. I want to hear your thoughts. I've told you all of mine. I think it's absolutely absurd that they did not take steps to freaking protect them. So anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you think they made the right call? Do you think this is normal protocol? Whether you agree or disagree with me, let me know what you think. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.